every single show I've been in. I can't think of one, except I covered Tova and Saraba. That was horrible. But other than that, Inside Scoop, that was just me in the show. But other than that, everything I did I've loved. And the loving of it, the way I would approach doing a part was just, well, what's the truth here? And what's the truth there? And who has the truth? And I would just sort of look around at all the players, trying to intuit who has the truth of this particular moment that I'm in pain about or don't understand. Whether it be the conductor or the director or the choreographer or, you know, whoever it is, the composer, who knows? And when everybody involved in a project is in that gear, that's the magic. Because then you're all really going, because the play speaks to you. The piece always has a voice. And so you are truly all trying to hear, what is the voice of this piece? What does it need to come alive, to become dimensional, to become real? And if everybody's in that gear, and I've done so many shows now and seen so many short circuit, and they always short circuit because somebody's not listening, and they want their influence. They want their ego up there, they don't want the show up there. It's that simple and that complicated. So you have to have every creative in a gear where they're going, the show is alive, and the show wants this. And if you're all there, you get there. You really do get there. I've seen it happen, but it's not easy.
I think the cool thing about Artie in Yank is that, number one, I loved him from the minute I read him, and part of his language is dance, which I definitely key into, and made it all the more easy for me to relate to him. But I just got him. I completely got him. David and Joe wrote this just delicious character that I completely connected to, and I don't think that there's. I mean, there may have been one or two times when I questioned what he said, and then David said something, and I went, "Oh, okay, I get it." So it's. I kind of feel like it's not a great example of something that I really had to like work at and find and, you know, investigate. And we love doing that. I think actors love to do that kind of thing. We like to feel like we're getting our money's worth and getting in there and steak, you know. Artie's a souffle. Well, a souffle is difficult to put together. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. He came very easy to me, and his words, his spirit, his movement, his voice just felt very, very me, or somewhere inside me. And so that really, it was extremely easy. So, don't mean that to sound egotistical. It just, when we connect to someone, when we can do a role, it's just because it's in here somewhere. It just exists, and we bring it out, and thank God they cast us.
Yeah. 6 years ago, I got a script, and it said Memphis, and I read it, and I found this wonderful young woman named Felicia, and she was so much like me. She's from the South, she's from Memphis, I'm from Chattanooga, same state. We're both African American. She's an artist, she wants to be a singer, I want to be an actress. So we connected on so many levels right away, and I felt I understood her place in the world. I understood her circumstances. She lived in a time when my grandmother was my age now, but we shared the same space, the same continuum. And I was so blessed to have such amazing creatives. Our director, Chris Ashley, and our writer, Joe, and our composer, David, just opened up every single morsel of this piece to us and allowed me as an actress to collaborate with them. They're so profoundly talented that they can relax and show nothing but confidence, which allows you as an actor to do that. So every single stitch of her singing voice, the sound of her, the feel of her, I've had a hand in because they trust me enough as an actress to allow me to do it, and relying on the fact that I was born and raised in the South. So there's all of it coursing through my veins that just feeds itself completely into her. I remember once in a table read on a new scene, Joseph had written something, and I said, and I read it out loud, and he said, "What do you think?" And I said, "The thought of it is real, I understand it completely, but the way she's saying it doesn't sound like what lives in the mouth in the South." And he said, "Well, how would she say it?" And I said what I would have said or what my grandma would have said. And he goes, I see. And so exactly what I said in that table read is what's on the stage. I say it every night. And it's marvelous. So, you know, as an actress, I've just been allowed to put every piece of my fingerprint on her with the help of these incredible men and my leading man, because she'd be a very different girl with a different boy. And so it's just, it keeps opening and opening and opening, and I've sung the songs and I've done the words more times than I can count, and I discover something brand spanking new about her and about me every single night. Every single night. And it's 6 years now we've been doing it, and I still have that. I still have it.
A lot of people ask me, you know, where did you learn? How did you learn to walk like that? How did you learn to talk like that? When they're asking me about Huey Calhoun, I remember 6 years ago, like Jeffrey was saying, 6 years ago when we had our first table read at North Shore Music Theater, it kind of just spilled out. It just kind of, in fact, I won the part. I went home on a vacation, and I said, Mom, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Honestly, I never leave the stage, and who is this guy? And she said, well, you'll figure something out. so I eat your breakfast. And so, but I remember it just kind of spilling out of me and just having a sense of it immediately, and being so fortunate to have that experience, because sometimes you don't get a sense of something. Although I did get a big sense of Milky White, the cow. That was easy. Put the udders on and you go. But our collaborators, our creatives, Joe and David and Chris Ashley, were so open to, because they saw that, I think, spilling out. They saw that we had a sense of it, that the magic that they had written was being born in us. I think that they were more open to letting us give our thoughts and our opinions. And Chris Ashley is one of the most patient directors that I've ever worked with, and I've learned so much about it, being an actor with him, because he will let the lousiest idea float for just as long as he can take it. But it's important. It's important because something lousy may produce something really beautiful, and it has often happened. So, yeah, that's my answer.
This is a question for David Thompson and Tom Kitt specifically. Given the nature of your shows, you've probably heard something like this expression: "You're making a musical about what?" And what made you think, when you were making it, that it might, that your passion could become the passion of the audience? Was there a moment in the creative process that you said, wait, I think this is going to work. People are going to respond to this the way I want them to respond to it?
Well, when we started working on Next to Normal, it was originally called Feeling Electric, and it started at the BMI Musical Theater Workshop, and I was 24. So when you're 24, you say, I'm going to write a musical, even though they don't think I should write that musical, because I'm 24, and that's what you're supposed to do when you're 24. You know? And it really began just as a 10-minute thing. We didn't think a full-length musical, never mind Broadway, at any point. And we started writing it because Brian had seen something about electroshock treatment and statistics about that there were statistics, I think, that 70% of all the electroshock patients are women, and 90% of the the doctors who prescribe it are men. And granted, there are many reasons, and our research has taught us a lot of these reasons that those statistics are that way. But it's a statistic that still jumps out at you. And so we wanted to write that woman's story about suffering from severe depression, a woman who's suffering from severe depression, and the men in her life that are trying to make her well. And then around that time, we did our 10-minute presentation, and we totally expected everyone in the room to hate it, and half of the people hated it, and half the people said, that's amazing, you know, you guys should keep working on that. And that's all you need. All you need is that one